I think we do a lot on self-awareness and also self-management. Resilience is a big topic also within our school.
Welcome to our podcast, The Future of Hospitality. My name is Arjen Eikelenboom, and today our guest is Anemoon Schepel, Senior Lecturer at Hotel School The Hague. Anemoon, welcome to our show.
Thank you.
Yeah. Who is Anemoon? Tell us, please.
I'm a lecturer, indeed, at Hotel School The Hague, but I'm also a mother of two. I'm very passionate.
How old? Sorry. How old? The two?
6 and 11.
6 and 11. Boy, girls?
A boy and a girl. So
wonderful.
Yeah.
You got the whole package.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. Also singer in a choir. I'm also playing in musicals. So I do a lot of things outside of Hotel School as well.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I think they all link to my passion is... really understanding different perspectives, connecting to various people. So it all ties a little bit into each other.
Right. So you are a lecturer at Hotel School The Hague. You live in The Hague?
No, I live in Hilversum. So I live Hotel School The Hague. There are two campuses. One is in The Hague and one is in Amsterdam. And I sort of live in the middle. Let's say I need to go sometimes to The Hague and sometimes to Amsterdam campus.
Right. Can you draw us a picture how a typical day of you look like at school?
Yeah, so actually, because I'm really involved now in curriculum renewal and working on the new professional and educational profile, I work also a lot from home. So I have, and because I'm also the course coordinator for the graduation project, which is the final year project. I coach a lot of students also online because they're in various places around the world. I've got students who are in, for instance, in Singapore and Kuala Lumpur at the moment, also in the Netherlands. So I sometimes see them there. I think next year it's going to change a lot, that I'm going to be much more on campus because we are redesigning, that we want to create a more sticky campus.
Okay.
So we actually take out the research out of the placement experience. We used to call it launching your career, where the students both did a research assignment together with their a placement company. And now the research is going to be more challenge-based learning for the industry. And students will work more in and around the campus.
Okay, so changes. Is that a typical post-COVID thing? Because you said I do a lot of online. Students are internationally located. Yeah. That's going to change. Is that because what I remember from back in the days, that wasn't a thing at all. But things have changed, of course. And is that maybe a post-COVID thing that more people are online?
There was like an opportunity for us because we were already doing this, let's say the launching your career, where the students did research and a placement at the same time. We were already doing that before COVID. During COVID was actually an opportunity because we were going online so much more. So we did workshops online, we did more coaching, we did more social coaching, like peer group learning together. So that was actually a positive side that we could do that in a much better way than we did before. The downside was, and that was already before COVID, is that the students sometimes had lots of difficulties combining their bachelor thesis, as they would call it, together with their placements. And I do think we want to create more of a sticky campus because we were doing so many things online and because we saw, we were losing that connection sometimes with students. So I think, it's maybe also a reaction to that. And Also the effort that we put in at first, because when we start year 4, we do a minor, which is a student's choice. And then we already have our hands on the students, let's say, and we connect to the students. And then, we would send the students away, and they still do their placement abroad. So they're still going to do their placement abroad at all different places. So that's still going to be the same. The only thing that's changing is that they don't have their bachelor thesis or their graduation work during their internship anymore. So that's going to change, and that's hopefully going to help the students with their study progress. That's going to help them a lot.
Interesting. So you studied at the hotel school yourself. In another one, Maastricht. And now you teach in The Hague and Amsterdam. What drew you back to education?
Well, actually, when I was younger, I always thought, well, at some point I want to do something with education or learning and development. And when I graduated myself, I did a research project on learning and development. So that was also my own thesis subject and my placement experience. So I really wanted to go into learning and development. When I was working in the hospitality industry in learning and development, I thought, it's really nice to train the staff, but it's always at the at the back end of operations. So operations has priority, and then you can do some training, maybe on the job training or whatever when it's quiet. So when I was training in hotels, it was always something which was secondary. Right. And I really love to be in education where it's a primary focus, of course, learning and development. And working with hospitality students or like working with the hospitality industry still has my passion. So
it's very dynamic. I think that's what attracts you, right? Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
That's what I'm hearing. So you worked also, not just in this side, you also worked with systems like Oracle and Micros, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
How did that shape your understanding how hospitality functions behind the scenes?
So I, of course, knew operations already from working in the industry myself. And then when I worked for Micros Fidelio, you really got to understand the back end of everything. So understanding, okay, how does information flow from one to the other? What do departments need in terms of information to do their job in a good way and also make strategic decisions? So for me, that structure of information and communication really helped me to understand the hospitality business so much in a deeper level. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, speaking about that, I'm thinking about advanced tech like AI. How is that being embraced by, for instance, you, the hotel school itself, the hotels that you are connected with? How does that look like?
Yeah. So we even have students that do a lot of research on that as well. So how to support hotels to use AI even more. We have also for the assessments of students, right? And that's also why we're changing the assessment from having like this text-heavy research project that the students need to write. It's more going to be like visual content that the students need to create, and also proof of co-creation, reiterative design processes to really create impactful solutions which are going to be beneficial for the industry. And we say you can use AI, so it's really good to use AI as long as it doesn't hinder your own critical thinking and your own inputs. So I think you can use AI a lot for brainstorming, even use it to help create things, right? But it needs to be your own critical thinking that's behind it. And I also think we need to be a bit wary about, okay, what kind of info are we going to put in that black box which is going out there, right? So we don't want to, we want the students to keep their privacy when they do that. Yeah.
That's quite a challenge, I can imagine, because this is all new and developing so fast. I mean, it wasn't there when you were in hotel school. It wasn't even there probably when you worked with the systems behind the
No,
scenes.
no.
And now you are teaching marketing and communications. So how do you keep these subjects fresh and relevant for today's students?
Yeah, it's more thinking of assignments where we use AI to help the students actually grow. Use it as brainstorming tools. We also have like these. I'm working on creating my own AI agent because I get lots of questions on processes, procedures, things like that. Okay, where do I need to find that? Where do I need to look?
It's all new,
And
yeah.
yeah, and then I want to create my own AI agent that the students can first ask the AI agent, and then if they
So
don't,
like an avatar, your avatar. So
yes,
it's
yeah,
like, oh,
yeah,
that
my
is so
own
cute.
avatar, and it should enhance, let's say, the human experience. I think really, because I think it would be great if we are like high tech, high touch, right? Where it's like high tech, we really embrace the new technology which is out there, but we still don't lose that human touch, because I think that human touch will never go away, especially in the in the hospitality industry. You don't want to be helped only by a robot or yeah. A digital format, but you really want to have that personal contact as well.
That
But
balance between
yeah,
advanced tech and
yeah,
still the human interaction, the human
yeah,
experience,
yeah.
memorable guest experiences. That's what I like, and that is what I think that students need to understand. And a lot of hospitality work, people in hospitality, that is the essence of hospitality. It's that human interaction.
Yeah.
You will like what I have to share later on. I will just give it away. Right, it's called guestjourney.ai. It's something that I've been working on in the back with a business partner of mine,
Nice.
where we help hotels with personalized video with a touch of AI to create to achieve upsells, higher revenues, etc., etc. So
Yeah,
that is the fine balance, because I think that's very, very important as well. I'll
yeah.
share that with you later on. It's very interesting.
Nice.
So about something else, you have been coordinating the graduation process
Yeah,
for 5 years now.
yeah.
So, can you tell me what were some of the challenges and how are you keep refreshing those in this fast changing times?
Yeah. One of the challenges, I think, is for students to really see the graduation experience as part of their school journey as well. So what happens a lot is that they go on a placement or an internship, and they get so invested in the company and sometimes in operations as well. And we really want to have them have a leadership experience as well, so that they take the lead
Very
either on a
important.
project or with people. And sometimes that's not possible. Not all companies have the notion of giving the students that possibility. And we have great companies that we work with that do that. But students, yeah, they don't dare to speak up about that as well. They really are like very happy to be in that company because it's like the perfect placement experience or the perfect
And
company.
it's all new. It's the first thing they
Yes,
see. Because
exactly.
yeah.
So that is a challenge, to really find time for the students, had to connect with school and really see this as a learning experience. Also as part of graduation hotel school. I think the second thing, and that's also how we dealt with it now, is that we separated the research from the placement experiences, that students did not find the time to write, to really do their data collection, like their interviews and their surveys and their analysis. So that was really difficult for them to combine it, and they were really struggling with time management, and that was also causing some study delay. So I think for about 20 to maybe 40% of the student population, this was a great setup, and they could really find their own mojo in it. But for let's say 20%, it was really not a good setup. So those students were really delayed, sometimes by a year or by 1.5 years. And there was like a sort of in-between group who struggled a little, but So it was difficult for us to find that really sweet balance between, okay, we still want to create impactful, meaningful solutions for companies and that the students work with, and where they really can integrate it into their day-to-day life. And on the other hand, really help the students in launching their career and being in the job itself and understanding the job.
I can only imagine, indeed, because when you're being placed in at a property, regardless of what kind of property, I mean, every single thing is new. They're young, so they need to absorb everything. It's a high demand from the property and the people around them, because they need to perform, they need to learn. There's so many things they need to do. So I can only imagine that there is a certain amount of students that are being challenged, and it's good to hear that you pick up on that and try to find a sweet balance in that. I think that's very important for people not to lose out or get depressed, because that is affecting your mental health as well if you cannot keep up and you need to perform at school as well. I see that. I totally see that. Let me go to the leadership and human skills. So you've spoken about your passion for the 21st century, as you call it, leadership and human skills. What are some of those core capabilities that students should master today?
So for me, human skills are really, and I think the most important element of those human skills is really understanding various perspectives, right? So it's not having your own lens that you see the world, but really understanding that other person's perspective. And that starts with self-awareness. So I need to be able to understand my own context. I need to be able to understand where I'm coming from, and maybe what are my patterns, what drives me, and be able to manage that as well. So be able to sort of understand it and manage it. And then the next step is being aware of other people around you. What are the other perspectives? The other types of people, and being able to manage those relationships with the people around you. So for me, that all ties back into emotional quotient or the cultural quotient, which I think are very much interlinked, or even the social quotient.
I believe so too.
And so these human skills are so important. How to deal with conflict, how to influence people, how to mobilize people to act for a common cause, because the sum is greater than all parts, I think. So if you work together towards a common goal, and that is really where I see, I hope to make a difference also with my students, and where we can work together to create meaningful solutions for the industry, for organizations, for society at large.
I'm glad to hear that's an important point that you address. I want to hear from you, because you're not the first one that I speak to. I speak to industry leaders a lot, and how they are changing their approach, indeed, more emotional intelligence. How is that different from when you were at school? Because this is very different from when I was in school. They didn't care about my emotions. You just needed to perform. So how did that change? I'm glad it's changing, but how is it different from when you were at school?
Yeah, I think there's more focus now in today's society also on well-being in general. And not only on the cognitive side. So I think when I was at school, there was lot of focus on cognitive abilities. Critical thinking skills, creative thinking skills, communication skills. So communication, I think, is also part of the human skills. which was also still important. Huh? How do you present yourself and how do you deal with conflict? So those elements were still important, but I think the focus is now more on, yeah, you're not just your brain, you bring your whole body and your whole self into something.
Your whole being, yeah.
Your whole
Yeah.
being. And so the well-being aspect, I think also in hospitality is growing a lot. And there's more focus on mental health, on on all elements that link to, I think, emotional and social well-being.
How do you help students? Because emotional intelligence, which indeed is a fine line to mental health. How do you help students develop this?
Yeah, there are various ways that we do that. I'm not the only one, of course, involved. I think we do a lot on self-awareness and also self-management. Resilience is a big topic also within our school. So we're looking at, for instance, they use tools like Berkman. I don't know if you've heard of Berkman before, which is really a tool which you do a test on, and you see, okay, what is your regular behavior, what is your needs, and what is your stress behavior. So when you go into stress behavior, for instance, it's really important to understand why you would do that. We do a lot of coaching. So we help the students with regards to any type of struggle that they have. And I think we do a lot on where the students need to manage themselves in a good way. So they look at, hey, where do I struggle with? And that could be on a financial level, it could be on a mental level, it could be on a social level. And how can I create that positive mindset also? I think positivity is a really good way to do that, being grateful for things. For instance, we have like assignments for students on that. And my personal take is really in that relationship management and focusing on understanding various perspectives. So I use deep democracy, for instance, as well, where I start with a check-in, where I invite all different perspectives. I use also language, deep democracy language, where you invite the minority voice, let's say, where you introduce maybe something and you say, well, maybe someone has another idea, completely different. And do you recognize that as well? So you spread that alternative, and then you ask also at the end a question: if the minority still does not feel in agreement with that idea or whatever, what do you need to go along with this? And so you make wise decisions. So I use deep democracy. I use it in class with my students, but I also use it to teach students on how they can use deep democracy themselves to make wise decisions.
Right. Well, now you just proven that indeed you have a master's in educational sciences and focusing on culture and inclusion. So can you shine a little light how this has shaped your teaching today?
Yeah, so I've already been in education for almost 17 years. So it's been a long time that I've been in education. I've developed myself continuously. So I'm such a big fan of lifelong learning. I learn something, I think, almost every day.
Every day, you never stop. I agree.
And it's and that really has shaped my my view as a lecturer. So I started as an information and communication management lecturer. Then I went into marketing and innovation. Then I went into professional development, HR and culture. And now I'm at a graduation in the graduation course, implementing the inner development goals, implementing those human skills, those leadership skills that the students need. I think, which make them, better human beings. But now I did not answer your question, I think. I don't know if I did.
How did the your masters in educational sciences
Yeah.
focusing on culture and inclusion? Culture and inclusion. That's something that wasn't there when I was in school. So how does that shape your teaching today?
No. So I did a master's in education when I was already working at Hotel School, and then I really found my passion, because I could do a master's in anything. That was it was subsidized by the government as well. So it was really nice that people in education could do master's studies. And then I thought, do I want to specialize myself in marketing or in information and communication management or in HR? And I thought, no, I really love education, and I want to become better at understanding how people learn, how organizations learn, what they would do in different countries in education, on various levels. So I'm very excited about, people that bring in new educational innovations and then look at, okay, how does that work now? The same as now working with AI, how to sort of embrace it, because it's there. It's not, we shouldn't shy away from it. We shouldn't be scared and then think of crazy ways of how to assess the students now, because AI is taking over all the writing, for instance. And really looking at, and I think what has changed from in education as well is that before we were lecturing, so we were really standing in front of the group and telling, our story. Still love to do that, but
from the book.
I have changed so much into that I'm really a servant to the group. So I'm facilitating more the learning process and really looking at, okay, how can I, create an assignment before class, which already gets the students into the mindset of what we're going to do in class? How can I really make the students responsible for their own learning? How can I create more like a la carte kind of, more flexible education? So these are things that I'm continuously thinking of, also when redesigning the courses, when working with the students. I'm now also thinking, how can I include the students more in that decision process? Because we know about what's going on behind the scenes in terms of, what is going on with regards to trends on education. But the students are the ones subjected to what we think of. So using focus groups to make sure that they also are part of that, and maybe even co-creation of classes, putting students in the driving seat, so really making them responsible for a field trip, for instance. You are now responsible for this field trip. What do you want to do? What do you want to get out of it? This is the budget. I
like that approach. You put responsibility in their hands.
I really want the students to become these lifelong learners as well, and that they're responsible, that they drive their own learning. And this is, for me, continuously in the back of my mind when I design the courses. How can I make them responsible? How can I make it as flexible and as individualized as possible as well for them, so they can really create their own development goals? Say, okay, how do I want to be evaluated on that?
Something else about surface acting and deep acting, two different things. But what are the exact differences between surface acting and deep acting, and why is that distinction so important in hospitality?
So in hospitality, let me first explain the two terms. So surface acting is that you are in contact with the guest, for instance, and you're faking that you're happy or that you're have a smile on your face because you don't really feel it.
You put up a show.
You put up a show, exactly. So it's and when you're really deep acting, it's really, you feel it as well. So it's about, having those feelings. And people who do surface acting, they get into burnouts, or they get into, it's going to affect their mental health. So people in hospitality, because it's emotional labor, right? You're continuously with various people. You get maybe sometimes shouted at. There's a lot of pressure in operations. There's, you need to be able to have a good team around you. And when there are people ill or other things going on, then you're often on your own. You need to do a lot of work in front of that guest as well. So it's a heavy burden sometimes, and then it's important that people also understand that difference between that deep acting and surface acting, because if you don't feel well, and you need to fake it, it's going to have a really negative spiral, let's say, in your mental health.
That will have consequences for your own mental health eventually. You cannot keep that show up. I'm glad you mentioned this deep acting. I didn't know the term, but I was aware of the existence all along, even in my days in hospitality. I'm more of the deep acting, and I was not really good at service acting. And me coming from Rotterdam originally, that was not a good match because we cannot keep our mouths shut. But anyway, another point I would just to highlight, I would love to do a podcast roundtable session at some point with some students about certain subjects in this. So I just want to mention that because that will be interesting to learn from them how they look at certain subjects that are really stinging right now in hospitality. But I'll come back to you at some point later about this. But finally, Anemoon, what does hospitality mean to you personally?
Yeah, so hospitality to me personally is more than the industry itself or the act of serving others. So it's really about inclusion of various perspectives, making people feel heard and seen within any kind of organization. So I think any organization could benefit from hospitality. And from the knowledge that we bring as hospitality experts. I think it's really about empathizing with the other, caring for the other. The word hospital, right, is in the word hospitality, and they also are caring, within the hospitals. They need to be caring and serving the needs of the people, but in a completely different way. So I really like that actually synergy between hospitals, hospitality, seeing it as a bigger whole where we are in service, let's say, of the other, welcoming the other, including the other, empathizing with the other in society at large.
Yeah, right. I agree. Yeah, it's all about the innate desire. That's what I always said, innate desire to make other people feel good.
Yeah.
No matter how, in hospitality. Anemoon, I want to thank you for being on our show.
Thank you.
It was really nice to talk to you and hearing your insights.
Yes, thanks for having me.